The Bundesliga kicks off tonight, and if you're in the USA, you can definitely catch all the action on ESPN this season. And it kicks off with Bayern Munich, the champions, up against FC Schalke. And one of them seems to have an eye on a very talented youngster from the US men's national team. Sergino Dest is who we're talking about right now. And Tom Hamilton is close to this story, Tom, because it seems that it's not Schalke, it's Bayern Munich looking to strengthen their squad. And why not with a talent like this one? So what's the details of this potential deal, I suppose?
Yeah, so it's still very much in progress, but at the moment, Bayern Munich are the front runners. They've been sort of looking at Sergino Dest for about 6 months now, but bearing in mind that Sergino's only really had one full season with Ajax, his trajectory has just been rapid. So yeah, at the moment, Bayern Munich are definitely interested in leading the race for Sergino Dest. They are in discussions with Ajax at the moment. I don't expect there'll be much movement over the weekend, but perhaps earlier next week we should have a sort of a firm picture of exactly how likely it'll be that Dest goes to Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich will be using the money from the Thiago transfer to Liverpool to fund this interest in Dest. And there's a big gap down there, down that right wing for Bayern Munich. So at the moment, they have Benjamin Pavard at right back. And in the past, they've used Joshua Kimmich, but at the moment, they're using him much more as a midfielder. So they need someone to go alongside Pavard. And it seems like Sergino Dest is the man they want.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, I suppose, like I said, he is an absolute talented youngster for the US men's national team, as well as Ajax. We know that Ajax can produce them at a very, very high caliber. But talent is something that Bayern Munich does, of course, already have. So what plans do you feel that Bayern will have for him if and when this deal does go through?
Yeah, I think he's been one of these sort of targets they've been looking at for about 6 months. So Dest has only really been playing for sort of first-team senior football for Ajax for a season. And it was such a quick sort of trajectory. He went from being one of these fringe players to suddenly being talked about as a potential Netherlands right back, to then the USA wanting him, and he's been playing Champions League football and the rest of it, and he brings so much pace, but equally he's a really intelligent footballer. He knows exactly, his positioning is fantastic. He also has that ability, just like Davis does down the left for Bayern, to overlap and then sort of get that sort of the cut into the box and get those balls into Lewandowski and those sort of guys. But he is only 19. So this is going to be one perhaps looking at the next sort of 5 years perhaps. And that's sort of the length of the contract Bayern are trying to get him on.
So one for the future there for that one. Someone else that, or another club rather, that has been starting to look really hard at their future is Barcelona. We know the mess that has gone on in the last season that we saw. No doubt that they'd be looking for reinforcement to hopefully make Lionel Messi happy and stay there for the rest of his career. Word is that they are also interested in Sergino Dest in this one too. So where did that interest come from, and is there any weight to it?
Yeah, absolutely. They are keen. They're looking at 3 right backs at the moment, along with Diego Dalot and also Hector Bellerin. But Sergino Dest is also on their radar. He's long been someone that Ronald Koeman admires, the former Netherlands manager. And when he was in charge of the Netherlands, he did make an approach to Dest to try and get him to declare for Holland. But in the end, Dest went down the America route. But for Dest and Barcelona, what's needed there is Barcelona have to sell. So they have to get rid of Semedo if they want to recruit Dest. And at the moment, there doesn't seem to be a transfer sort of nearing there. So as things stand, Barcelona don't have the funds for Dest, which means that Bayern Munich, now with that money from Thiago, are now at the front of the queue.
And finally, I suppose, I mean, we've spoken to a number of footballers as well in the Bundesliga, both, you know, young and older ones, even though footballers really aren't old, relatively speaking. And a lot of them do say that they do admire how the Bundesliga is able to mold these young stars, even though get them young. It's a perfect trajectory to probably go play elsewhere eventually, for example, La Liga or even the Premier League. So do you expect Dest to have the same kind of success that we've been seeing, for example, from Weston McKennie, who's now gone off to Juventus, Christian Pulisic, of course, at Dortmund, and now here playing in the Premier League? Is this something that you would definitely recommend for him?
Yeah, he's class. I think Ajax always seem to manage to get these sort of players to stay an extra season, perhaps. They did it with Donny van der Beek. They did it with Frankie de Jong. But perhaps now it's sort of the time when Dest, he's an ambitious young lad. And when I met him in December, he doesn't even have an email address. He only uses Snapchat. So this is the sort of generation we're dealing with here. They've moved on beyond email. So he chats to his US men's national team comrades over Snapchat, over WhatsApp and over Instagram. It's a bit of a way away from when we used to talk about text messages, but he's definitely in contact with these guys. He knows them. And I think, he'd have seen the success of Christian Pulisic. He'd have seen the success of Weston McKennie. But on the other hand, Ajax aren't a small club. You know, they were Champions League semi-finalists 2 years ago. They've got an incredible record of developing these youngsters. So if for any reason the Bayern Munich move doesn't materialise, if Barcelona can't get him this summer, Dest staying at Ajax is not necessarily a bad thing for him. He's going to play Eredivisie, he'll play Champions League. He's going to play a lot of football there. But it seems at the moment, the most likely move for him is to Bayern Munich, which, I mean, as you saw with Alphonso Davies, it could take him really on to the next level.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.